gonna have to do with your onions is weed them. Hate to tell you that, but look at, otherwise they're gonna get swallowed by the weeds. And that would not be good because the weeds compete for nutrients and water, light. So weed away, baby, weed away. Voila! Isn't that better? Weed it and reap. Whoa, I missed a piece of grass. There we go. All right, it is now the beginning of August and the unimaginable has happened. We have had here in the Pacific Northwest the most amazingly terrible drought and heat. We've had temperatures of 100 for weeks on end, no rain. This today is the first time I have seen any clouds. Although the tomatoes love this weather, there are certain things that don't love this weather. One of them, of course, is the onion crop. Onions like cool weather. They like a lot of water, and we haven't had that. So every other year for a decade, I have grown the most amazing onions, you know? And the one year I decided to make an onion movie about growing killer onions, I'm growing pathetic onions. I'm still getting onions, of course, but they're not the most beautiful, gorgeous, huge bulbs that I usually get. But since I started my series on how to grow onions, a lot of you have asked me, hey, what do we do next? So I'm just gonna make a video about it and tell you what to do next. So one way to tell that the onions are ready to harvest is that the tops fall over, the tops turn brown or yellow, and you know it's ready to deal with them. So if the tops, you know, in a perfect world, of course, the tops would be nice and green and stand up straight, and there's some stuff happening here with the browning. Usually what people do is they just push over the stems with a rake, maybe just push them over with a rake and then just leave them in the field for 2, 3, 4 days and then pull the onions. I'm gonna just pull them because they're ready, obviously. So honestly, all you do is you just pull them up by the tops and lay them down. Boy, I tell you, I usually, seriously, it's like one mass of onions, and here I have these pathetic ones. But I'm gonna stop fretting. Ideally, you would do this when you know that there are a few days of sunny, warm weather ahead, because you're gonna let them lie here in the field to cure in the sun for a day or two. If it threatens rain, then you just take the onions and you put them in a well-ventilated area like in a garage or a woodshed or something like that, or maybe even your mud room or things like that, and you just let them sit there for 2 weeks until they dry off nicely and until the stem here is nice and dried. Right now it's really juicy. You can still see how there's some juice left. So one lesson learned is Mother Nature, what you gonna do, right? But the other lesson learned is you gotta water those babies. You gotta water them when it's that hot and it's that dry for that long. I'm not used to having to irrigate like that, so I didn't do a good enough job of irrigating my garden. There are other things that are great, like the carrots and collards, kale, broccoli. I mean, I have everything else, but the onions, just irrigate them.
I thought you meant these are carrots.
These are not carrots, these are onions. Be gentle with them. One thing to remember is handle the onions gently. Don't throw them around, you know, just be gentle so they don't bruise. I'm glad I have a helper. there we are. I decided to lay them out in our woodshed, which is covered with a roof, and just have them just sit here and dry out for a couple of weeks. And then I am just going to cut the tops off when they are nice and dry on top, and then store them in a nice cool place somewhere, and eat them throughout the whole winter. And that's all there is to it. And maybe next year I'm going to have to make a other movie to prove to you that really this does work.